So I have a lady named Grace who is about to come online, and she's going to be doing the 3-question pendulum as well as a 3-card spread to help her to decide on certain things and answers to different questions. And she'll be joining us in a moment. Yeah, so cool. I had mentioned last week that I thought it might be a good idea to do a pendulum and tarot card reading. Are you still up to that?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, I'm interested in that. It should be fun.
Have you ever done it before? Tarot
I
reading?
have not tarot myself. I have a lot of angel cards and a lot of spiritual cards, and I usually do a 1-card or a 3-card.
Okay. What I was going to do is the pendulum first, in which I will ask you to ask 3 questions that are important to you.
Oh dear.
And, I know one of them. You already told me.
The soulmate. Yeah.
But maybe there's a couple of others you might want to think about before we begin. So in order to do this properly, I'm going to need a date of birth. And I know that's often a question, especially for women, that's very sensitive. But in order for my spirit guide to connect with your spirit guide, having your birth date is very, very helpful. So if you wouldn't mind telling me your date of birth and also place of birth.
Okay. So I was born in Montreal. And I was born around 9 p.m. I don't know if you need that.
Okay.
Around 9 and 10 p.m. And I was born on the 4th of September, 59.
Oh, okay. So you just celebrated an important milestone. Okay.
Yes, the number 62. Yes. All
right. So I'm putting my pendulum right here, and just so that you know, and this will help. It seems to be a little bit cockeyed there. Right? Okay. Anyway, it's a little bit off, but it doesn't matter. On this particular, they call it an altar clock.
Yes.
I got this from Russia.
Nice.
Just to give a little background, the history behind this is that it comes, it's handmade in Russia, and it's so specially made. It has all kinds of different symbols and dates and times, and of course you've got the yes and the no. Today we're just going to be working with the yes and the no, and also just so that you know, yes is going to be the axis that goes from top to bottom. So if the answer is yes, it's going to move like this. Okay. If the answer is no, it's going to go like this. Okay. If it's a possibility or possibly, it will go this way. And then we have this, which means check again or rephrase the question.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sounds interesting. Yeah.
All right.
Never did this before. I have one, but I never did it.
Okay. Well, this is
I have everything, Peter.
And this is a special. I love this. This is a tiger eye, which talks about a very protective energy as well as abundance. So that's why I like it, because usually people are looking for abundance of something. Health, wealth,
abundance
happiness, love, romance, you name it. So let us begin. The first question I'm going to ask, if I have permission from my spirit guide, to the spirit guide of Grace, who is on the end of the line here. Can you give me an answer, please? and it looks like it's saying yes. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
want to make sure that you're able to see this, and you also notice that my hands are not moving at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's important.
Okay.
Okay, so we have connection, and these crystals are here, and blessing them and giving them the highest energy possible. And I always like to do 3 deep, slow breaths before we proceed with any questions. So let's do that together to make sure that we're on the same frequency. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Grace?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, ready? Let's start breathing in. And out. Again, breathe in and bring the frequency level as high as you can, really high, the highest possible level. And let go of any negativity or residual stuff that's not really pertinent to our work here today. And one more deep, slow breath. We're going to bring that in and imagine a nice wave of love and energy, peace and abundance entering, coming into this special space that we've created. And now exhale, peacefully letting everything now melt into this wonderful tarot spread that we have here in front of us. And I say tarot spread because I also use it for the tarot cards that are going to come later. But for the purposes of this right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just ask you to think about 3 questions. And if you could preface each question with, is it good for me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
Or is it good for me? Something of that nature.
Okay. So
Okay.
I should start the first question.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Is it good for me to continue my health regime for weight loss and
Okay.
health? Mm-hmm.
Okay, I will repeat the question to the pendulum. Is it good for Grace to continue her weight regime for weight loss and her health? And I see the pendulum moving, and it appears to be moving on the axis of yes. And it's increasing. So this is usually a pretty good affirmation in terms of what you've just asked. So look at that, it's still moving. Quite strongly. Okay, so that's
perfect.
Question number 1.
Okay, so question number 2 is, I'm sorry, what am I supposed to start with? Is it good for me? Is it time for me?
Okay,
at the present moment, to awaken to the universe?
Okay. The question is it time for Grace to awaken at the present moment to the universe? And again, we seem to be getting an affirmative. Look at that. Definitely. And it moves even more and more intensely. So that's 2 yeses.
Yeah. Okay. Let's hope for that famous 3rd one, because I left it for the end.
Okay.
Is it time for me? Is it time for my soulmate, for us to be together now?
Okay. Let us begin. Is it time for Grace and her soulmate to come together in this lifetime now? Is it the right time to come together now? Ooh. Well, you may not like the answer of this one.
Yeah, I see the answer of that.
It says no. Now,
I'm very.
let us not get too upset over this. I know it's not the answer you probably wanted to get, but with the tarot cards, we're going to be able to unravel a lot of things that might help to explain maybe what you need to do. Okay, so maybe right now it's saying that the pendulum is saying that it's not the right time, and there may be, some reasons why. And so that's why we're gonna have to use the cards.
Yes,
Pendulums
Peter, and
are
this.
good, but they basically don't give a lot of detail that might be pertinent, trying to understand.
Yeah, I know, Peter, but my whole life has been never the right time.
Well, let's see if we can find out if there's some patterns that are there that might be inhibiting your possibility to have a soulmate. There's something going on. Okay. And certainly, as you might be aware, I have been worked as a psychologist for over 25 years, and I've worked as a healer. And patterns are one of those things that we look for, because patterns are things often that we repeat over and over again. Sometimes they're just in the subconscious and we're not really aware of them.
Yeah.
But they contribute to a certain behavior or behaviors that may be blocking ourselves. I mean, I know I have. Oh, jeez. But it's not so easy to figure them out yourself. You need someone else who's kind of objective outside of your situation, who can lend a very kind of, as I say, objective and clear-headed kind of objective observation, if you will. Okay, so I think that's certainly shuffled enough. It's very important to shuffle. We want this to be randomly chosen. When we say random, of course, there's no such thing as, well, meaningful coincidence, but in this case, we're looking for what's called a random, kind of like a mind map that is occurring, conceptual blending, it's been referred to as, and that is, we're just going to bring out some random cards that have some connection, certainly with you, because I'm going to ask you to choose certain things. And also in my connection with the cards and the tarot spread and the energy that we're bringing here, it's going to yield some insights, and that's really important that we understand that what the process here, and I certainly respect everything. So what I'm going to ask you to do right now is, I have the deck right here, okay? And what I'd like for you to do is we're going to divide it into 3 piles. Okay? And I'm going to ask you to say stop when I should stop, sort of flipping the different cards. You're going to say stop when I should stop. Okay, so that's the first pile. Now we're going to move on to the second pile. Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Okay. So there we go. 3 piles. And I'm going to put these up like this. And what we're going to do first is we're going to look at the past, the present, and the future. Okay, so what you see there
Mm-hmm.
at the first, the past, Queen of Cups. Now, cups, what does that stand for?
Isn't
Well,
it supposed to be abundance?
it is in the sense that it is a lot of emotional kind of abundance. You know, there's an emotional sense to it, and what we have. Let's start with the Queen. The Queen represents patience.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now, just from what you've told me,
Mm-hmm.
you certainly do have a lot of patience. And what I'm picking up from this spread right here, patience, while it has been a virtue for
Mm-hmm.
you, it might have also been a hindrance.
Yes.
Does that
Mm-hmm.
make sense?
Oh, yes, it does. I've been too patient.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, even though, you know, for most people, you know, they'll say, oh, patience is a virtue, that you know, famous saying that we have, everyone's heard it, you know, when we don't have much patience. Oh, you know, patience is a virtue. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it can be, well, a hindrance.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes
Yes.
you find yourself kind of being too understanding and tolerant of
Mm-hmm.
situations and people, and you leave yourself at with the short end of the stick.
Mm-hmm.
Does
Yeah.
that sound like you? Okay.
Yes, it
So,
does, Dr.
um,
Peter.
okay. So the Queen definitely has to do with patience, and cups we mentioned is emotion, and it's the heart.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, right off the bat, you know, the last question you asked with the pendulum had to do with whether or not you're able to have a relationship, or if it's time to be with your
Mm-hmm.
soulmate. And perhaps that's been the issue, that you've
Mm-hmm.
been too focused on helping, or not focusing on your own needs, your emotional
Mm-hmm.
needs. And so all your life, you've been focusing more on other people rather than yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go on to the next one. This is the moon. And a lot of people, they love this card.
I love the moon.
Mysterious paths. So this is the present. You're currently in going through um, a real kind of journey or adventure. I think
Mm-hmm.
adventure is a better word, in the sense that it's a real mysterious path, because it's so unique to you.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else can tell you, okay, this is the path that you should follow. Only
Mm-hmm.
you can do that. And so you've got this, as I say, very mysterious, but also esoteric, in the sense that not many people are aware of that knowledge that you are
Mm-hmm.
going after. And there's a lot of information out there, but
Mm-hmm.
it's really, obviously, it's mysterious for sure. And when we're looking at the number 8, it's a Roman numeral 8. It definitely is an important number, because it represents advancement.
Mm.
Okay, so there, while okay, your heart, and you've been very patient, and but also I understand frustrated on the romantic side of things. You seem to be currently in a very important pathway with regards to your own soul, the advancement of your soul.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Okay, so far so good. And now we're
Mm-hmm.
going to go to the future. And again, what do we have here? Cups. You had cups there in the past, but there's cups in the future. So that's saying that, whoops, sorry, that there is going to be, after this period that you're going through right now, and there's no way to put an exact time stamp, how long will it take? But given the information that I'm getting so far, have a sense that there's going to be something happening within 6 to 9 months on the romantic scale. And because what this is showing us, this is it. Look at how many there are. And
Yep.
what does the number 9 signify? Attainment.
Ah, I
Attainment.
see. Okay.
And this is, we'll talk about abundance of emotion. These are cups. So it looks good as far as the question of romance, but it doesn't seem to be right at the right time right now, because you're engaged in this pursuit right now, which has to do with a very mysterious but important journey that you're on.
See, because on the dowsing, I asked if it was possible now. So it answered me that I can't because I'm in the moon.
Yes, well, that's exactly a good way. Of course, the natives, what the natives say when you're in your moon, of course, that's the menstruation period.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what you were suggesting?
No, what I meant
There you
is,
go. Yeah.
is the dowsing answered, because maybe I shouldn't have said now, because I like looking for my soulmate now. Because it's in the future, but it's not now.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because I'm in the moon phase of trying to figure it out. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Excellent. Okay, so let's move on. This is very interesting so far. We're getting some answers to that. Of course, like I said before, the pendulum doesn't give us more the detail like the cards do. All right, so I'm gonna shuffle the cards again, and the next one we're gonna do is your strengths, your weaknesses, and opportunities. But so far, it seems to be pretty accurate. What I'm gathering, the way you're responding, and there'll be a slight variation. I'm going to ask you again to choose the 3 piles and when to stop. But I'm also going to be doing a little bit something different afterwards, to choose which pile would be most appropriate for this particular quest that we have here. Okay, ready? All right,
yes.
Here we go. Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Okay, I'll put that. I think that's where you said stop.
Yeah.
We'll put that there. And we'll go again. Ready? Okay, go ahead.
Stop.
All right. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the pendulum, and don't forget, when I do the pendulum, I am connecting between my spirit guide and your spirit guide. And I'm going to ask the pendulum to decide which pile to choose for the reading of the strengths, weaknesses, and
Mm-hmm.
opportunities. So let's start in the middle. Is this a good pile to use for this particular question in terms of strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities? And it appears to be saying no.
Mm-hmm.
You see that? So we're going to take
Yeah.
that away, put that aside, and let's go over here. And I want to make sure, because I have my elbows anchored very securely. I want to make sure when I do this, my elbows are really secure. Okay, is this a good pile to ask or to answer the questions for the strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities? Is this a good pile? Ooh. Again, we're saying
I guess.
no.
Mm-hmm.
So that leaves one more pile, and I don't automatically assume that this is going to be the right pile. I'm going to, again, because it may be, we'll have to do another shuffling. It doesn't like the piles, or is going to say, yes, this is a good one to do. Okay, so let's see what kind of an answer we're going to get. Is this a good pile to use to answer the question for strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities? It looks like it's saying yes. See that?
Yes, I do. And justice it is.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. This is another guy that I like to have sometimes. You know, it's a black and white angel. So it has.
Oh, isn't that cute?
Yeah, it has both
yin and yang,
positive and negative, yin and yang. Yin and yang. And you know, to me, that's the most sensible way to approach anything. The world and the universe is comprised of both negative and positive energy. Okay, and we need to address both of those and accept that they are part of the entire spectrum of energies. All right, so we have 3 cards, and we're now going to see, okay, what the heck do they mean? I have to take another sip of my water. Lemon water. Okay, so we have the number 9 again, which is attainment, which is very good. That's a strength. Okay, so it seems to me that you have the ability to attain an awful lot of things and to have a certain understanding of what the truth is. And the truth in this sense, does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You have an understanding of what is the truth in any given situation. You tend to have the ability to weigh both sides of the story and say, okay, well, you know what? I would say that this side is more on the side of truth than the other side. And you know, if you can follow through with that, that seems to be a very positive attribute that you have. Because you know, having that ability to be able to weigh both sides of an issue can be a strength, but it can also be a weakness, because we have to be look at that and how that also you know, kind of plays with the previous spread that I did with the past. And we know in the past you have been more than patient, perhaps, and we kind of agreed that you've been too patient when it comes to doing things for others at your own expense. So I think, and then probably that also plays a role here in the idea of truth and understanding. And perhaps what we need to do is apply the justice to you. It's time that you got the justice or the fair, to be treated fairly.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And so let's look at the weakness. The weakness part is this one where you have this guy lying down with, there's 3 swords pointing towards him, and there's one underneath. And he's lying there, and you wonder if he's dead or alive. I would say that he's alive. Don't worry about it. So, because you have the hands. Now, isn't that interesting? Because you were saying
the hands are up.
Yes. You were saying, I don't know if it was got on the recording, but you were saying that you have this, recently you're having these kinds of,
channeling.
In which your hands are pointing skyward or into the heavens. And they're filled with vibration and frequency. You're not sure what they are exactly. What is the message? All you know is that there's something happening. And when you try to do this intentionally, it doesn't work. But this comes spontaneously. Your hands just go up. They're brought up. And the swords, by the way, signify thought, the mental side of things. And so it's almost as if you've got the Trinity. Anyone who's had a background in Catholicism knows about the Trinity, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, or Holy Ghost, depending on how far back you go. And so, of course, we're beginning more and more to understand that the Father, Son, Holy Spirit is us. I mean, we are integral in that entire concept of body, mind, spirit, right? It's the body, mind, spirit. Plus, you have this element here, which is really speaking of, I think, when we talk about reincarnation, you're bringing forth from the past the 4th element into this.
Oh, I see. That's interesting.
There's a 4th element coming in there, which is, And then we have here, it looks like Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary, and this looks like the part of the cross. We don't see the actual, but so there's this element as well. And why is this a weakness? It's a good question. Why would that be a weakness? Is perhaps, while this is certainly of value, I think for anyone to have a spiritual side to them and to advance at some level and grow spiritually, it may be a handicap when it comes to romance, because not everyone is going to be at the same level. It's impossible. I mean, and so that's something to perhaps pay attention to, is that when in search of the ideal soulmate, either don't push that side of you too much, or wait until the other person opens up perhaps about their spirituality, or don't use that as a card. Don't play your cards too soon. Is what I'm picking up here. I mean, this is part, and don't forget, this is eternal, right? This aspect of self, the soul, it goes on forever. So there's a part of you from the past, and for sure I'm picking up that you've lived many, 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 many lives. And you've had this pursuit. This is not the first time that you've
Mm-hmm.
had this pursuit of spirituality. And that seems to be why you're being drawn into it, almost as if
Mm-hmm.
a part of you is woken up
Mm-hmm.
from a bit of a sleep, but you were there before. It's not
Mm-hmm.
a new thing. And you've got the light shining in through the stainless glass windows.
Mm-hmm.
You've got that connection. Is it a weakness because you grew up in a Catholic church environment? Maybe, because I know a lot of people are kind of negatively affected
Mm-hmm.
by the teachings and the whole
Mm-hmm.
ideology, dogma that has since been seen to be very destructive and even poisonous in some respects. So that might be also a part of the weakness, that you have to kind of stay clear of that. And perhaps that's part of your own awakening. And this is really your awakening in
Mm-hmm.
this recent, I guess, revival. Would that be a
Mm-hmm.
good word? As I say revival because you've been in this before in previous lifetimes,
Mm-hmm.
being revived. Now, so far so good. Okay, I don't want to go too quickly because I know sometimes when I cover this, I can be going too quickly and it can sometimes be overwhelming, but you seem to be in sync with what I'm saying so far,
Mm-hmm. Yes, I am.
right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so opportunity. That's what this card stands for. And choice is what that is telling you. You're going to have opportunities in the future in which you will be presented with choice. And again, we're talking about the emotional side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're going to be given some choices. And I mentioned
Okay.
that it might be within the next 6 or 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
And over that period of time, some people, men will appear in your life in which you will have the opportunity to decide, okay, which one of those guys would be good for me
Mm-hmm.
as a soulmate? And the question will be, I think at that time, do I want somebody who's going to be good for me materially, in terms of having
Mm-hmm.
comfort,
Mm-hmm.
material wealth, but he may be lacking in other areas?
Mm-hmm.
Or do I want someone who's good for me spiritually?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be maybe not so affluent, but will have a lot of richness in terms of his
Mm-hmm.
spirit and
Mm-hmm.
his own growth. I have a sense which way you're going to go, but I'm not going to put that into your.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
leave that up to you because
Okay.
after all,
Thank
I'm
you.
only here as a guide.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you like that?
It was very interesting. Very interesting. Yep, I enjoyed it. Yep.
Wow, great. I'm happy. I'm
Mm.
going to go
Yep.
back. So there you go. So
Good.
what I'm seeing here then is overall for you is that while patience is a virtue, it's also been a handicap for you. You've been too willing to, kind of,
Trust the process of life.
yeah, you've been too
Mm-hmm.
much involved in trying to accommodate other people and make sure that everything else is fine, everyone else is okay, and not taking care as much. about your own needs. So the time is nigh. This is it for you. Even though the pendulum said it's not going to happen right now, it doesn't mean you can't prepare for that time. And it seems to me that with the work that you're doing on the spiritual side of things, you're going to be in a good place in the not too distant future to be able to be more clear on your choice of a soulmate.
Yeah.
Okay, because I think you know the years that you've spent taking care of other people has given you a lot of time to think, and your more recent revival, to call it that, or some people say awakening, you're awakening. That's a very
Transformation.
Transformation. I love that. Is not happening by an accident. There's certainly shows very clearly in the cards that that's happening for a reason. It's very clear that you are you're very much involved in your awakening, your revival, your transformation, because
I'm working on it constantly.
The timing. Yeah, it's just happening so naturally. I think what I'm getting.
Yeah, I'm also trying to spend the moment of now, trying to be present now.
Yeah.
Not doing something and thinking of something else. I'm trying. That's what I'm working on now.
Well,
trying to be
wonderful.
Present.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Like it's paying off from what I'm.
But again, I have to be patient. The last 62 years wasn't patient enough. We had to wait another year.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Perfect.
But you do know that a part of you is in some way responsible for that. However, not to say that it was for naught. In other words, you might have been, as many people do, they get involved in what they thought was the right person at an earlier age. I've been there.
Yeah.
And only to find out,
no,
there was something not fulfilling in this relationship. So you didn't have to go through that. Rather, you've been, I think, doing an incredible service to others and helping others to certainly have as good an existence as they could possibly have. But it's time now that you say, okay, I'll continue as long as I need to, but I need to put my own self as a priority. And that's okay. That's certainly it's time for you. Absolutely. You deserve it.
Thank you.
You got to give yourself permission too.
Yes.
Don't feel guilty.
Well, no, because now we're at the it was a new moon, so now it's a waning, it's a waxing moon, so I have to put out my intentions out there.
That's right.
Okay, sounds good. So next Tuesday,
you're almost falling off.
I'm sliding down. I'm sliding in my bed. Hold on. Here I am.
Okay then.
I'm sliding in my bed. Have a good evening, Peter. Next Tuesday at 8.
Okay then. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.